attend the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, UNCED. Most of the 20,000 to 30,000 participants were there for the Global Forum part of the conference, which was billed as a World's Fair of Environmentalism. This consisted of motley exhibits and short programs on every conceivable environmental and social program. It occupied a tent city that was erected in Rio's downtown Flamingo Park. Global Forum provided an opportunity for individual expression and for special interests to demonstrate environmental technologies, but was otherwise unrelated to the official conference agenda. UNCED's serious work was done at the Earth Summit meetings. There, the government representatives of 178 nations and the official delegates of hundreds of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, met in separate sessions to consider a program of wide-ranging measures. The overall goal was to save the planet. Save the planet from what? From human beings, of course. The tone for these discussions was set by Maurice F. Strong, the UN's official spokesman and Secretary General for the conference. In his opening remarks on June 3rd, he referred repeatedly to serious deterioration in the natural world and to the pressing need for action. He spoke of patterns of production and consumption in the industrialized world that are undermining Earth's life support systems. To continue along this pathway could lead to the end of our civilization. This conference must establish the foundations for effecting the transition to sustainable development. This can only be done through fundamental changes in our economic life and in international economic relations, particularly as between industrialized and developing countries. This planet may soon become uninhabitable for people. This theme, that nature has been irreparably damaged by industrialization and that the only remedy is to reduce progress and economic growth in the industrialized world, was one of the two underlying principles that guided UNCED. It was repeated over and over. The United States was generally singled out as the primary culprit. Curiously, the other guiding principle for UNCED was that the industrial nations accused of causing all the problems must now pay for them by transferring large sums of money and technical know-how to the Third World. How this is to be accomplished by the industrialized nations while they simultaneously lower living standards and retrench economically was not explained or even discussed. The year before, 1991, Strong had set the tone while the UN agenda was in preparation. In this transition to a more secure and sustainable future, the industrialized countries must take the lead. They have developed and benefited from the unsustainable patterns of production and consumption which have produced our present dilemma, and they primarily have the means and responsibility to change them. It is clear that current lifestyles and consumption patterns of the affluent middle class, involving high meat intake, consumption of large amounts of frozen and convenience foods, use of fossil fuels, ownership of motor vehicles and small electrical appliances, home and workplace air conditioning, and suburban housing, are not sustainable. A shift is necessary toward lifestyles less geared to environmentally damaging consumption patterns. It appears that no proof is needed for these assertions, and that simply saying so establishes their validity. Throughout the entire period of the conference, they were repeated like a mantra. Planning for the Earth Summit began at the 1987 Stockholm Conference that produced the paper Our Common Future. That meeting was chaired by Norway's Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland, who was also the Vice President of the International Socialist Party. Our Common Future is a green internationalist manifesto that brings the political philosophy of socialism into the environmental movement. The socialist approach to problems, along with the kind of remedies proposed, was evident in Mrs. Brundtland's remarks at Rio. She told the delegates to the Earth Summit that we in the North consume too much. As reporter Ron Bailey of Reason magazine observed dryly, fortunately the activists at Earth Summit have a solution for this problem. Let the government divest you of your excess goods, such as your carbon dioxide-emitting automobile, your alienating too-big house or apartment, and foods imported from outside your bioregion. The assertion by many Third World representatives that because you are rich, I am poor, was never doubted in the discussions. The Honorable Mrs. Brundtland, who served as vice chairman of UNCED in Rio, reinforced such attitudes in her opening remarks.